Afternoon, everybody. Silverbolt here. Not back for a Transformers review. Going to be doing something a little bit different today. Now, I am... No, I'll rephrase that. Over the last few years, well, over the last probably about 10-15 years, Japanese animes for kids have become much more popular. And I remember I was probably about 16, 17 when Pokemon first came out, and it first started coming onto Irish televisions. So for all I know, England had it for the last 20 years. But there we go. So I missed the initial craze of a Pokemon. I mean, I wasn't watching Pokemon at that point. At that point, in all fairness, at 16, 17, in the west of Ireland, the biggest thing we talked about was Friends. That's to give you a kind of idea of what Irish terrestrial television was like back in the 90s. Yeah, Friends was the highlight of our TV series conversations. And I didn't dare tell them that I was still watching things like, you know, Spider-Man and Sandokan, and I love Sandokan. Whatever happened to Sandokan? I love that TV series. It was great. But anyway, yeah, so Friends was pretty much the highlight of our series. And you know what? 16, 17, trying to fit in. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to mention that you like Pokemon. I made the chronicle mistake of at about 14 of saying I still like watching Power Rangers. So I missed a lot of Pokemon, despite the fact, you know, I'd slyly watch it when I got home from school. I just wouldn't tell anybody about it. So animes for children have been around for a while now. What I didn't know at the time was that, of course, there was a card game, a TCG, a trading card game that became associated with Pokemon. I didn't find out about that until I moved over here. And they have enjoyed numerous success, despite the fact that, you know, the entire series is 400, 500 episodes long, as is wont to do with a lot of Japanese animes. They have enjoyed a lot of success. Now, admittedly, I was always more in the Yu-Gi-Oh camp. I was a very big fan. I was a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh. I still am. I've actually got to see if I can get... I've actually realised that I'm actually missing some of the episodes. So I need to see if I can get them again. I need the mini-series with Von Schrödinger in it. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, yeah, I realise I'm missing a few of the episodes, but I've got most of them, including the last series, which was absolutely terrible. The Pharaoh's Memory was the worst of the lot. But anyway, this is not for me to sit here and complain about how old I was when Pokemon came out. So, getting the trading card game was really, really nothing new. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh was, as I said, Yu-Gi-Oh was a great anime with quite an interesting card game. You know, the card game was quite clever, despite the fact that it held on to the idea of, you know, the rarer the card, the more powerful, the more you've got to pay in real money for it, unless you're really, really lucky. I think over the years of collecting Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually managed to get 4 parts of Exodia at least twice over. Except for the head. The head of Exodia was the one I never got, but there we go. But seeing as I have a Warrior beatdown and a Spellcaster beatdown, I don't really need an Exodia deck. Was the kind of decks that I played with. And even that's going back a good few years now. You're talking... hang on. 8 years? Since I was 22? So yeah, if I was 22, it'd be 7 or 8 years ago now. So anyway... And so we've had Pokemon, and admittedly the games for Pokemon still go quite strongly. Yu-Gi-Oh, in all fairness, seems to have died a death since they brought out Yu-Gi-Oh GX, which wasn't as good. I mean, for a start, you know, the original Yu-Gi-Oh had the American series had the voice talents of people like Dan Green, who is an excellent voice actor, and Dan Green did the voice of Yami, I believe. Bet you I'm wrong on that. But he did the voice of Yami, and you know, he really helped make the series. Despite the fact that and Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those TV series that really shows the difference between Japanese kids' audience and American kids' audiences. Because if you look at Yami in the Japanese version of Yu-Gi-Oh, he's an absolute psycho nut job. In America, he's just a little bit hard-nosed, but the amount that they tone them down is unbelievable. But it's still a great series. And now we have a new one that's hitting our stores, which is actually what this video is about, despite the fact that I haven't actually mentioned it yet. However long this video has currently been going on for. And it is called Bakugan. Now, Bakugan combines a trading card game. Yeah, I've even still got the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Flick. I used to be very dramatic when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Me and my friend Kevin, we actually wanted to buy the Dungeon Dice Monsters board game, and the reason we wouldn't buy it is because he knew full well if I sat there the whole day, I would keep going, go, dice roll! But there we go, so he wouldn't actually let me buy that and let me play it with him, so, because I actually still think he bought it himself, but there we go. But yes, on to Bakugan. Now, Bakugan is a toy range at the moment. Oh, sorry, so yes, it comes with these little playing cards, and it also comes with these little marble things, which I'll get to. Now, from what I can tell, Bakugan seems to be the newest of these crazies, because it's all over the place. I mean, I've been going into Tesco by 5 Ways Island for like the last 7 or 8 weeks, and all you can see in the toy range, it's Bakugan. It's practically been shoved down your throat. You know, you've got the toys, the cards, the DVD, the brawling arena. Despite the fact that technically they come with their own. The brawling arena, the launcher, the hand launcher, which looks like some kind of weird lightsaber job, and I fail to see the point of, but it looks cool. Apart from the wrist launcher, looks absolutely better. But let's face it, it's no dual disc. Anyway, aside from that, you know, and it's got all these ones, and now it's not even the little marbles anymore, but it's these giant square things that flip out to form traps, and I actually started watching the anime. I actually tried to really get into the anime, and I can't make head nor sodden tail of it. I mean, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom, I know I keep referring an awful lot to Yu-Gi-Oh! In this, but it's the one that I know more than I know Pokemon. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom, the first series, some of the moves they pulled out, you just scratch your head going, what? So, you play a magic card that creates the moon, which your monster can then stab in order to send out the tide. And that's how you win? What? What? So, yeah, so, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! But at least Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a basic set of things that you could follow. You know, you play a monster card, either in defense or attack mode. You've got magic cards which can be equip or whatever, or you've got trap cards, and you can activate trap cards at this point, activate magic cards at that point. Despite the way that they went completely over the top with all the different things that the cards did, at least it was regularly simple to follow. Maybe it's just because I'm older, but Bakugan anime, I got to about 20 episodes and I just gave up. I just gave up because I could not follow it. The storyline is that these cards start falling out the sky. Turns out they're part of this planet, dimension called Destroyer. And apparently the kids invent this new game out of these cards called Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Now, these kids invent this game, but they're all over the place. And, of course, the title character is one of the ones that helps invent the game. Right, so as far as I can tell, what fell out the sky were these card things. So, but unless I missed it, and it's quite possible I did, it doesn't explain where these little dudes came from. Whether they made them or what they did with them, I don't know. Anyway, this world of Destroyer is being destroyed by the Grid Great Evil. And then all these special little kids, because it's always because you know, it'd be a pretty damn boring story. It was just Joe Blogs, and they get these things called the Bakugan, which in the anime are inhabited by monsters. Yeah, giant 600 feet dragons, itty bitty living space. So there we go. So I gave up on the anime about 20 episodes in because, It just made no sense. And the opening credits, it's like, me and my friends, including this guy called Shun, who won't show up for the next 15 episodes. I just really couldn't follow it as a TV series. It just struck me as really strange. But it was because of the scene. Anyway, I'm completely retracting my point now. The series itself, just to raise up this interesting thing, funny enough, for one of these kids' Japanese anime things, it actually flopped in Japan. It didn't do very well at all. The Americans and the Canadians, however, absolutely loved it, and funny enough, the toys are actually made by Sega. Despite the fact that, see that one there? I've got that one in red, so they're learning from Hasbro and repainting them. But there we go. Anyway. So yeah, I've been seeing these in Tesco, and then I went down to the Entertainer. I was just mooching around town, went into a look at the Entertainer, and they've got an even bigger display of these things. And they've got humongous giant ball things, which I'm assuming that you're actually supposed to store your bakugan in them. But this thing, you hit someone with this. I mean, how does this thing pass health and safety laws? But it's like a cannonball. But I don't actually know if that's actually supposed to be, as I said, I don't know if that's actually supposed to be a giant one of these, or if it's just a place to hold your bakugan. But yeah, you've got storage clips for holding your bakugan and belt clips, and it's got a wrist-mounted card reader, because you know holding it in your hand is too much trouble. Oh no, now you've got to have them on your wrist, where you do that and your opponent can see your cards. But there we go. The game revolves around having three of these gateway cards and 3 of these ability cards, and doing something with it. However, the cartoon, well, the anime, they just seem to play these things whenever they want. They just go, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other, I'll do the other, and they just happen to have exactly the right card they need when they need it. I mean, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, occasionally Yu-Gi would actually have to think on his feet, rather than going, hi, the cards, gave me, that's what I wanted. Occasionally that didn't happen. Not very often, but occasionally it didn't happen. So yes, the cartoon series absolutely made no sense. And what got me thinking about this video, and what got me the idea of doing this video, was I got this given to me when I went into the Entertainer, and I bought some more Bakugan. As I said, some of these are actually presents for a certain somebody. And I got given this poster with all the Bakugan on them. And what got me thinking of this was when I was 19, the woman I was going out with, she had an 8-year-old kid. No, Tommy was 6, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. You're talking a decade now. He's old enough to be drinking by now. Yeah, so she was 30, but there we go. Yeah, I was a right dark horse back then. Well, not much has changed in all fairness. And he had on his wardrobe door the original Pokemon poster with all 150 original Pokemon on it, and that's what got me thinking of this. But this has got all the I wanted to call them Pokemon then, or Digimon. That was another anime that had a TCG, was Digimon. Actually no, was Digimon an anime? I can't remember. I never liked Digimon. I thought it was a poor man's Pokemon. Despite the fact the animation was way better. But there we go. So, and some of them look really funky. But there we go. And now there's traps and everything, and it's just basically looking very weird. But anyway, on to the toys. Famous line from me at this stage. Now, it actually took me a little while to click to the point of these. The first thing I noticed was, we'll get onto the cards first. You've got these basic cards, which are, they're trading card games. They're very shiny, they're very colourful, they're very weird looking. Then you've got these things, which I believe are called gate cards. Very sturdy, stiff plastic, and I didn't get for the life of me, while you had these things and these things. You know, I didn't get why you had the two things, because I couldn't figure out the game, because the instructions aren't in them. But there we go. So, but then I found out, right, these cards are metal, because I happen to have a couple of magnets just stuck up against my computer frame. No particular reason. And then you come to these little toys. Now, I originally figured the only way to get them open was to smack them like an egg. No, 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 no. They've actually got a really, really clever gimmick. How cool is that? Try another one. And you can actually roll them. And they flop into shape. Because there's little magnets in the bottom, and there's magnets here. These strips are magnetised. Okay, admittedly, you know, the magnetising process doesn't always work. They don't always catch. Except on this occasion, it's going to catch. Of course it is, because I'm doing the damn video, so it's not going to work when I don't... No, it's going to work even though I don't want it to work. So yeah, you roll them, and if you roll them in quite the right way onto the magnetic card, they pop up out of the shape. And I think that's a really, really clever trick. I know, well, I'm very easily amused, we know that. And it's a really clever little idea. Unfortunately, that's about it. You know, I imagine that once you get over the idea of it, you know, once you imagine you get over the idea of, well, you know, it's a magnet that pops open on its own accord. Admittedly, it doesn't always work, it has to be said, because now I'm determined that it's not going to work, you know. I'm going to make it not work, so I've said it now. So, let me show you this. Hopefully you can get this. No, it's going to work. It's refusing not to not work. Ah! Didn't work. There we go. See? It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it's, it just rolls off. However, there is one thing about it, is that, well, yeah, that bit's popped up and is now absolutely fine. I've just bit my tongue. However, you've then got to take it out. Of course, I could be wrong in this as well, in order to get the legs out. So, unless you buy one of the special attack bakugan, which apparently you put it on the thing and it bounces up and transforms. Well, score. Because if we're going on gimmicks, then I'm going to take my animated Ultra Magnus Thunder Hammer. Actually, no, I'm not. If we're going for gimmicks, I'm going to have RID Prime and RID Magnus combine into Omega Prime and watch you go. But there we go. You can also get these starter packs. As I said, I bought a few for a present for somebody. I think I've said that about 3 times now, but there we go. And you know what? I mean, I think that, you know, they're quite a good. I don't know. There's something different. You know, they're actually combining trading card games with actual pieces to play with. Something that, let's face it, has been missing from the trading card game. You know, even if you look at things like Magic the Gathering and I don't know what are the ones, World of Warcraft trading card games and all the other dozens and dozens and dozens, you know, there's not really any pieces that go with the game. So having actual pieces that come with the cards, I think is quite a clever little touch. As I said, the series is very popular. I can't follow it. Maybe I'm just too old. But if you ever wanted to be like one of those really cool anime assassin guys, you know, who use think of like Gambit or Kyber or something like that, you know, who can throw a card like that and it becomes a mighty weapon of doom. Well, this, yeah, I mean, well can, because you wouldn't want to get one of these thrown at your head. You know, Jeremy Kyle style, for anybody who's seen that episode of Jezza. You know, if the guy had this instead of an envelope, oh, Jez would be on his way to the hospital by now. But there we go. Alright, I think I've waffled on for quite a considerable amount of time and probably not said an awful lot. But there we go, yes. This is Silverbolt with random green marble thing, because I ain't got a freaking clue what it's called, and random chocolate milkshake coloured marble thing, because I ain't got a clue what this one's called either. Signing off, saying au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen.